This video concerns the potential taxability of your Social Security benefits. Nothing in this video is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I am examining some simple mathematics that arise from Internal Revenue Service rules. This video is solely for educational purposes. The video explores the potential taxability of Social Security benefits. In particular, I will examine the Social Security Benefits Worksheet in the Annual Instructions for Forms 1040 and 1040-SR. Before 1983, Social Security benefits were not considered taxable income and did not affect a person's adjusted gross income. The legislation by Congress that changed this consisted of two bills, one passed in 1983 and one passed in 1993. Here's an image of the Social Security Benefits Worksheet from Instructions for Form 1040. Both of the bills included thresholds. For a single person, the thresholds were $25,000 and $9,000, which led to a deduction of $25,000 and $34,000 respectively. These were not adjusted for inflation, and as incomes have risen because of inflation, an increasing percentage of Social Security recipients' income tax returns have included a portion of their Social Security benefits in their adjusted gross income. In 2022, 4% of the total Social Security revenue received came from income taxes on Social Security benefits. When I see videos or read articles stating that 50% of a single person's Social Security benefit might be taxable if their income is over $25,000, and 85% of the benefit might be taxable if their income is over $34,000, I find the lack of nuance to be frustrating, and frankly, that's why I'm doing this video. I learned about this issue many years ago when I helped a relative with an income tax return. Even though this person had an income over the $34,000 income threshold, none of their Social Security benefit was taxable. The observations in social media about the taxability of benefits are not wrong, but they might mislead some people. The details are important. Let's look at an example. Andy received $2,000 per month as his Social Security benefit in 2025 and took $13,000 in IRA withdrawals. I'm assuming Andy is at or above his full retirement age. Some percentage of his $24,000 annual benefit might be included in his taxable income and might increase his income tax. His total income is $37,000, which is above the $34,000 limit. So let's look at his worksheet. First, we want to look at his total Social Security benefit. $2,000 a month times 12 months is $24,000. Half of that is $12,000. His other income was $13,000 from IRAs. We're assuming his non-taxable interest is zero, so we get $25,000 adding lines 2, 3, and 4. We assume there's no Schedule 1 adjustments to his income, so we get $25,000 for his modified adjusted gross income. The threshold for a single person is $25,000. If we subtract these, we get zero. And if we subtract $9,000 from that, we also get zero. And basically, none of his Social Security benefit is taxable. None of it is included in his adjusted gross income. Kathy is single. She receives $5,000 per month in Social Security benefits, and she has no other income. Her worksheet has the following information. She receives $60,000 in benefits. Half of that is $30,000. She has no other income, no non-taxable interest, so that's $30,000. We're assuming there's no Schedule 1 adjustments to income, so she has a modified income of $30,000. The threshold is $25,000, threshold for a single person. We subtract that, we get $5,000. The second threshold is $9,000. If we subtract $9,000 from $5,000, we get zero. I mean, you would get minus $4,000, but in fact, the IRS doesn't allow you to get a negative number there. So the smaller of lines 9 and 10 is $5,000. Half of that is $2,500. The smaller of lines 2 and 13 is $2,500. Now, line 11 was the amount of her modified income which was above $34,000, and that's zero. So if I add lines 14 and 15, I get $2,500. Now her 85% of her Social Security benefit would be $51,000. You take the smaller of those two, and you get $2,500. So she has to include $2,500 of her $60,000 benefit in her adjusted gross income. Let's consider a married couple. Linda and Ralph are married, and they each receive $4,500 per month in Social Security benefits, and they have no other income. Their worksheet looks like the following. Their total benefits are $108,000. Half of that is $54,000. We're assuming there's no other income and no non-taxable interest, so they get $54,000. There are no adjustments to no schedule adjustments to income, so we get $54,000. For a married couple, the first threshold is $32,000. If we subtract that, $54,000 minus $32,000, we get $22,000. The second threshold is $12,000. If we subtract that, we get $10,000. So we take the smaller of these two, and we get $12,000. Half of that is $6,000. We take the smaller of lines 2 and 13, and we get $6,000. If we multiply line 11, okay, line 11 is the amount of their $54,000, their modified adjusted gross income, which is above the $44,000 threshold for a married couple, and you multiply that by 85%, we get $8,500. If we add $6,000 plus $8,500, we get $14,500. Now, their 85% of their benefit was $91,800. The smaller of these two, by 16 and 17, is $14,500. So of their $108,000 in Social Security benefits, $14,500 will be included in their adjusted gross income. One more example is Bob and Gail. They're married and each receive $2,500 in Social Security benefits, and they have an earned income of $120,000. Once again, I'm assuming they're both above full retirement age. So they receive $60,000 in benefits. Half of that is $30,000. Their other income is $120,000. We're assuming there's no non-taxable interest. We add $120,000 plus $30,000 to $150,000. If we subtract, there's no adjustments to schedule adjustments to income, so we get in line 7 $150,000. For a married couple, the first threshold is $32,000. If we subtract $32,000 from their $150,000, we get $118,000. The second threshold is $12,000. If we subtract $12,000 from $118,000, we get $106,000. So the smaller of lines 9 and 10 is $12,000. Half of that is $6,000. The smaller of line 2 and 13 is $6,000. Okay, line 11 is the amount of line 5, which is above their $44,000 limit, and line 15 multiplies that by 85%, and that gives us $90,100. So if I add the $6,000 and the $90,100, we get $96,100. We then multiply their Social Security benefit by 85%, and we get $51,000. We choose the smaller of those two, line 16 and 17, and we learn that $51,000 of their $60,000 Social Security benefit is included in their adjusted gross income. So to summarize, Andy, Kathy, Linda and Ralph, and Bob and Gail each had incomes above the second threshold, which is $34,000 for single people and $44,000 for married couples. But different percentages of their Social Security benefits are subject to federal taxation and included in their adjusted gross income. 0% of Andy's benefits were taxable. 4.33% of Kathy's benefits are taxable. 13.43% of Linda and Ralph's benefits are taxable. And 80% of Bob and Gail's benefits are taxable. 85% rather, of their benefits are taxable.